Okay, here's two practice problems. I want you to see if you can get them all factored out and then cancel the like terms. Get it reduced down as far as you can. So pause the video and see what you come up with. On the first one, I got my numerator of my first fraction. I pulled out a 3x and then I was left with 1 minus 9x squared. Now this one, hopefully you saw that it was a difference of two squares again. So I'm going to follow that pattern in my flip book in the two column section. So this really factors all the way out to 3x, and then it's going to be 1 minus 3x and 1 plus 3x. The numerator of my second fraction is 3x minus 1 and x minus 1. And then the denominator of my first one is 3x plus 1 times x minus 1. And then the denominator of my second fraction I didn't have to change. So now I need to start looking for things to cancel out. And remember, it has to be a top canceled with a bottom. I'm going to go ahead and rewrite the whole expression in one spot so we can see it a little better. So the top, I'm left with all of that stuff. And on the bottom, I have 3x plus 1. I have an x minus 1. I have a 3, and I have an x. Well, my 3 can cancel with my 3. My x can cancel with my x. Then, let's see, I've got an x minus 1 here and x minus 1 there, so those can go. Right here, these two expressions are actually the exact same thing. They're just in reverse order. And since it's a plus sign, it doesn't matter what order they're in, because 1 plus 3x is the same thing as 3x plus 1. So those two can cancel out. You have to be more careful when it's in minus sign in there, because then you have to pull out that negative 1 like we did in the previous example. Now these two, you might be thinking, if I pull out a negative 1, I'll have 3x minus 1, which would then match here. But these do not reduce because they are both on the top. You have to reduce with a top, or a top with a bottom. Since there is nothing left on the bottom, we have nothing else to reduce, we can just leave it as 1 minus 3x times 3x minus 1, or we can pull out that negative 1 and then end up with 3x minus 1 times 3x minus 1, which would then be negative 1 times 3x minus 1 squared. I would accept either of these for correct answers. They are the same thing. Go ahead and pause the video again and see if you can get this last one figured out. Alright, on this last one, the bottom of my first fraction follows my sum of perfect cubes. It's in the two-term column of your flip book, and when you factor it out, you get 3x plus 2 times 9x squared minus 6x plus 4. Now, if you notice, before you try to factor this one, they match identical. This one is indeed on the top of a fraction because it's over a 1, so I can go ahead and just cancel those out right away. What you would have found is that this one doesn't factor out, but it ends up reducing with this piece right down here. So when I multiply those out, I'm only left with an x plus 2 on top, and on my denominator, I'm left with a 3x plus 2. I can't cancel out the plus 2's because it's not written in terms of multiplication, so this would be all the farther I could go for that one.